Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a phylogenetic tree and a cladogram. And this is the review worksheet that we were doing in class. So on this one, I've already filled out this little chart here at the top, and it's got what traits each organism has. If this was not filled out, you would just look at the organism and check off who has a mouth, who has teeth, etc. All right, so when you're filling out the cladogram, the first thing that you're looking for is you want to look for either a trait that everyone has, so a trait with all check marks, or an organism that has like all zeros, that doesn't have any traits. And you can only have one of these two things. So in this case, we have a trait that everyone shares. So that would be the mouth. So the mouth is going to go here. And we would call this trait a primitive character or a primitive characteristic because everyone in the entire cladogram shares that trait. So in fact, we can go ahead and answer this question. The mouth is a primitive character. Not every cladogram is going to have one. If we're starting with an organism, so if the cladogram looked like this and the first trait was here and we had an organism here, then you would not have a primitive characteristic. You would only have what we call derived characters or derived characteristics, which are characteristics that only some of them have. Okay, so once we've put the mouth on there, we're going to cross it off because that trait's already taken care of. Now we're looking for an organism that doesn't have any further traits. And you see that Oliver has no other traits. So Oliver's going to go here. That means that Oliver is our outgroup. He has the least number of traits. He's kind of the first or most primitive organism in our tree. So Oliver is our outgroup. So we're going to keep going now. So the way that you do these is you go back and forth. You're looking for traits everyone has, and then organisms that don't have any further traits. So what we're saying is Oliver has a mouth, but he doesn't have any of the other traits that we're about to add to this. We're going to cross off Oliver so that we can keep track that we already added him. Now we're looking for a trait everybody has, and I see that everyone else in this tree has tentacles. So tentacles is going to be my second trait because everyone past this point has that trait. Cross that out. And now we see, going back, we're looking for an organism. We see that Groucho does not have any other traits past this point. He only has the mouth and the tentacles, and so he goes here. Cross him off. Now we're looking for a trait everybody has. Now notice in this one, there's actually two. Horns, or having a horn, and having teeth. And we technically don't know which of these came first, so the best thing to do here is just list both of them. Horn, comma, teeth. You don't see this very often. Most of the time, you either have a time frame and you know which one was first, or you only have kind of one trait added at a time. But since everybody else has both of these, we're just going to put a comma. And we're going to cross that off, the horn and the teeth. And now we see, if we cross that off, that, that Chico doesn't have any further traits. So Chico comes next. So Chico has a mouth, tentacles, a horn, and teeth, and he does not have the other two traits. The next one that everyone shares, if we crossed off Chico, is pinchers. And so that's going to go here. Pinchers, cross that off. Now Harpo is the next one. And then the last one, legs, is going to go here. And Zeppo has all of the traits in the entire tree. Excuse me. And so this is our finished cladogram. It's got our traits added in along the bottom. And then we've got our organisms across the top. We would consider this our most recent, our most advanced organism here at this end. Our outgroup, we always start reading, we call this the root. And our outgroup is kind of our first branch. And if there's a trait everybody shares, remember that's called a primitive character. And then everything else is a derived character. Now, it says name the traits shared by Zeppo and Groucho. Okay, so here's Groucho. And here's Zeppo. So if I track back, I don't want to make too big of a mess here, but I'm going to change to highlighter. Okay, so if I track Zeppo back to the root, These are all the traits Zeppo has. Everything I hit along that line from here down to the root. Now let's see which traits Groucho has. I'll use a different color. Let's do blue. Groucho is here, and the traits that Groucho has are here. So see where these both colors are? Those are the traits they share. So the only two traits that both Zeppo and Groucho share are going to be tentacles and a mouth. So that's how you would answer a question like this. And then circle the location of the closest ancestor to Harpo and Chico. So in a similar way, here's Chico, here's Harpo. We're going to track them back to where they meet. And this circle right here, this would be their most recent ancestor. Don't circle the organism that came before them. That's not an ancestor. You're circling, these points represent like the last time they shared an ancestor. So this would be the most recent ancestor. And in fact, this would be what we would call a clade. A clade is what we call monophyletic, meaning it tracks back to one point and then everyone after that point. So the clade that includes this ancestor would be Chico, Harpo, and Zeppo, all the descendants of this point right here. Okay, so let's move now to the other one. So let's scroll up. So this one is a phylogenetic tree. So this does not have traits. So this one instead has amino acid differences. So you always want to read, because sometimes it'll have like the percentage of similarity. There was a Pearson one where it gave the percentage that they had in common. And then you would be looking for like the highest number because they would have the most in common. But in this case, they're counting in amino acid chains in cytochrome B how many differences they have. So the lower the number of differences, the more closely related they are. So again, this is going to be our root down here, and our end is going to be up here. So we're going to scroll through this. Notice you have the organisms listed on the top and across the bottom, and then filled in are the number of differences. So it's sort of like Battleship. You just have to find where they match. So Simoni and Stellini, the number of differences between them is 49 differences. Simoni and Bravana, they only have 4 differences. Now notice that's the smallest number in this whole chart. So that's where you start for one of these. You're looking for the one with the least number of differences because those are going to be the most closely related, the most recently diverged, so to speak. And so that's what's going to go all the way to the right at the end. Now, does it matter which one I put on the left and the right? No. So I'm going to put G Bravana here and G Simoni here, and these technically could be flip-flopped. It does not matter which one goes on the left or the right. That doesn't mean anything versus which direction it's branching. So those are the most closely related. Now what we want to do is we want to figure out what would come next. So if we look at, let's say, this one, Simoni, and we know it only has 4 differences, what's the next thing it has differences from? And I see that it's got 17 differences from G. galati, and it's got 21 differences from G. galati eisentraudi. So I would assume these are going to come next. It has a lot more differences from Atlantica, and it has the most differences from Stellini, right? So I noticed that this is already drawn for me, and it's got 2 things that are really closely related to each other. So if I look, remember 4 was the one with the least number of differences. I also see that whatever these 2 organisms are, they're also very closely related to each other. And that happens to be galati with the eisentraudi. So that makes sense because we just said that those were probably going to come next when we work our way back from our most closely related. These would sort of be coming next. Does it matter left or right? No. Since they branch from a node here, you can actually put whichever one you want on the left or the right. You might think, oh, well, since there's only 21 differences in the eisentraudi, maybe it should go on the right, but it really doesn't matter. So G galati eisentraudi. And here is going to be G galati. I would assume these are species, so I'm probably supposed to be underlining them. But, all right. And again, since these have a node, anytime you have a node, these can be flip-flopped. So technically, it doesn't matter left or right. And again, why didn't I do this? Why doesn't it have them all branching from the main line? Because since these have such a tiny number of differences between one another, it makes sense to branch them very close to each other. They're closely related to one another. They only have 6 amino acid differences. Okay, so now if you're kind of confused of which one should go next, we should probably look for our outgroup. The outgroup should be the one that has the most differences from everyone. So one thing you can do is look for the biggest number in the whole table. So I see that Samani and Stellini have the biggest number in the whole table. But if you look at the other numbers for Samani, I see that they're not that big. But Stellini has big numbers for all of them. In other words, it has the most differences from everything else in the entire table. So it's probably going to make the most sense to put Stellini here. And then Atlantica, it kind of falls in between, right? It has more differences, 28, in comparison to the ones that are here. Again, we're kind of working our way backwards. So I would compare everything to these guys to figure out their placement. It's helpful when the outgroup is either first here or like, you know, the one at the very bottom or the one at the very top. That helps because all the big numbers are in the same row. If the outgroup is not listed on the bottom or on the end, you might have to look both ways. You know, look down, look across at all of the numbers for that organism to figure out which one is the outgroup. And so anyway, by process of elimination, the only one left is going to be Atlantica. So Atlantica. Okay, so now based on this, who's our outgroup? So our outgroup, remember, this is the oldest back here, the root. And so Stellini, Stellini, sorry, it's so sloppy. That's going to be our outgroup. 2 organisms whose positions could be swapped. I'm actually just going to highlight them rather than trying to write that out because it is kind of challenging to write on this board. So these 2 could be swapped. Galati with Galati Eisentraudi. Or these 2 could be swapped. So just these 2 with each other or these 2 with each other. Again, anything that's on a single node, it would not change its relationship to everything else. So you could change these 2 with one another or these 2 with one another, and it wouldn't change anything. And then it says circle the smallest clade that includes both G. galati and G. Simonelle. So Simonelle is here, galati is here. Remember, a clade is what we call monophyletic. That means it's one ancestor and then everything that descended from it. So if I track back to where these branched, it would be here. So the smallest clade that would include everything would be this. It would have to be from this point, and then every organism that descended from this point. That would be a valid clade. Also, one last note on this. Keep in mind that, let me erase out everything here. Erase. So keep in mind that even though this is drawn this way, it would not change the meaning at all if it was drawn this way. Like if this branched here, and then, this branched like this, and then branched like this, and then this one branched like this. You would still be reading from the root down here. This would still be my outgroup here. And then my most closely related would still be up here. Or these could actually go sideways. I've actually seen this as well. So you could have your outgroup here, let's just say. The Pearson I know had some like this. And then this kind of branched off here. And then this maybe has this. And maybe this has this. So then the most closely related in the entire thing would be the last ones to branch, like the furthest to the right. So these would be the most closely related to each other. And then a little further back here, and then our first branch would be the outgroup. They don't have actual time frames listed on this, but you could still think of this as more recently branching than things that are further back, and the ancestors are the nodes.